Hi, everyone, just joining in to the FAQ hour, and we're just waiting a few moments as people join the session. Hope everyone's doing okay. Over there in the US, we're sort of incredibly happy for everyone to join into this FAQ hour to go through. We've got quite a lot of things that we'd like to show. But we'll give it a few more moments just as people sort of join the webinar as it's just only kicked off. Just to let everyone know, we are recording the session. So anyone that, if you know anyone that wanted to see and join this webinar wasn't able to make it, it'll be appearing on our YouTube channel shortly after. So you'll be able to replay it. But just wanted to say thank you to everyone that has joined. My name is Timothy Kakara. I'm the founder of Canibuild, and today on the FAQ hour, which we'll be holding monthly at the same time, each month, we'll be going through all the new developments of the system, be able to showcase what's new. And for today's one, we're going to be touching on many of the features that have been released over the last couple of weeks and months, as this is one of our first, I think it's the second ever US webinar. So it will be a good chance to sort of retouch on many of the features that have been released and potentially have been missed or overlooked. So we'll be sort of jumping on that. We'll be jumping on that to sort of go through. So let me just share my screen and kick things off. All right, fantastic. So hopefully everyone can see my screen here. Basically, for those of you that may have just joined with us or just started to use the app, obviously high-res imagery, it's a map-based system, easy dashboard. I won't bore you with the sales spiel because it's very much for our existing clients to get the most out of it. And if you have recently joined on to Canibuild, I thank you for your trust to sort of start using this application in your sales process. So just to go through what we'll be talking about today, there is quite a few things, so I'll touch on those. Basically, this webinar will be touching on pool builders, manufactured home builders, single dwellings, more stick-built house construction, as well as ADUs, and how to get the most out of Canibuild in any of those build types. Any of the lessons learned for any of these build types, be it pools or homes or ADUs, they'll be transferable between each other. The system works very similar, regardless of what you're placing on the site. The only thing that genuinely differs is the functionality on the planning rules. We'll also be touching on estates, how you can take advantage of our community builder, so you can see how communities look on the system. And if you're a developer or want to work with a developer, you can take advantage of that. And we'll also be touching on the marketplace, how you can now request architectural plans and get them done within 3 days at a fixed fee. And lastly, we'll be touching on the Web Widget, on how you can take lead gen and be able to see how that might be embedded on your website. So let's just kick things off. I'll be jumping around the US so everyone can get the most out of it. I'll be going from East Coast to West Coast and just sporadically jumping to different addresses. So let's just start with North Carolina. And again, the system works the same way, irrespective of which address you first jump to. So we're jumping to an address here. We'll be able to see utility lines, services at the front, which you can hover over and see exactly what those are. as soon as you get to a site, you'll be able to see all your design plans. You'll be able to see the tabs that you'll be working on, design rules, quote and current docs. So all of this, I'm hoping, looks very familiar. But what I'll be doing is touching on some of the features that you might not know exist. So let's just start with a home build. So on the left-hand side, you can always filter by the brain and by clicking the brain and seeing what complies. In order to get the most out of the brain feature, please be aware that you'll have to add those attributes in the config in the admin panel. So that's bedroom count, sizes, etc., for the brain to be most useful. And if anyone does have questions throughout this session, please just ask them in the chat channel. I'll be trying to answer any of those, even if they're not related to exactly what I'm discussing. I'll circle around and try to answer those so we can get the most out of it. It doesn't need to be formal. So let's just pick a home design first. So let's just pick this one here, a Landra. We'll place it onto the site. So the first thing I want to sort of touch on is obviously you'll be seeing your setbacks, etc., which again, I'm sure that everyone's quite familiar with. But as soon as we do place it, you can notice on the left-hand side, we've got design options. I know this was touched on by my co-founder, Nug, last month, but we can sort of touch on it again, just for the benefit of those who have just jumped in new here. So here on the left-hand side, we can have known design options, such as mirrored rear. So we can change the actual floor plan. These colors can be modified to reflect your branding or nothing at all. And the other thing, other than design changes, and you can have as many design changes as you like. It could be the Jack and Jill bathroom, it could be the media room option or the 5th bedroom option. But what you can also do is change the facade rendering. So if you've got different external cladding options, say, whatever it might be, it could be a timber finish or a brick finish or a stucco finish or render or etc. You can sort of show those and reflect those on flyers and other things that you generate within the system. But what you can also do is two-story design. So whether you're an ADU builder or a home builder, you can actually switch between ground floor and upper floor. On the right-hand side, you'll see a half-colored house, and you'll be able to switch and show the top floor plate. This means you can actually track the setbacks for the upper floor as well as the bottom floor. So there are several ADUs that is currently being built that is two-story, so it's not just a home building point where many houses are two-story. You can actually do it for ADUs as well. And then it's a very nice touch to be able to see the upper floor and be able to annotate on this upper floor as well very easily, and also just showcase to the clients how that might look. So let's just switch back to ground floor and place this here. And you can also do design options for the upper floor. So let's just click this additional bed option. And you can see here that it's changed this plan to be able to reflect those changes. So you can sort of highlight those, come back and forth, which is quite nice. Now, we've placed the house design in a typical fashion. We'll be going to the topography lines and showcasing those straight away. These will be able to show you the grade, the slope of the land. Again, these are at 5 feet intervals. Each of the thick lines, each of the dashed lines are at 1 foot intervals. So it's quite simple to be able to get an understanding that if I place this build here, it's a 10-foot drop from the front of this build to the back. If I switch to the ground floor, we can see that a little bit clearer. But again, I always recommend to use the cut and fill feature on the right-hand side, the last icon just below the half-colored house. And if we click on that, this feature basically shows what that drop exactly is. So I'll pick out the highest point, point A. It will then show you that point B is at 2 feet in the air, point C is 13, and point D is 8. And as you move this around, it'll actually showcase what those differences are. So you can use this to suggest the best location on a block of land to mitigate cost or a different design. So in this case, if you wanted to mitigate cost, you go for a wider design rather than a deeper design to avoid some of that fall. So that's quite good. So we're able to do that quite quickly, and hopefully that's aware. The other thing you can do if you wanted to dive down into a little bit more detail is at point A, you can actually play with the foundation height. So we can see here it's 12 feet in the air, which might be too much. So point A, you can say, okay, -6 feet. And this will adjust all 4 corners of the build. And you can see now points A and B are in red. So that signifies there's excavation, bulk earthworks, retaining wall requirements, stormwater requirements, and you're able to speak to your client and say, look, are you sure this is the best course of action? Because at the rear yard, there'll be these additional costs and these additional factors to take into consideration. So it's not designed to turn anyone into a civil engineer, but it is designed to be able to bring forward some of these design considerations early on in the sales process, which is quite good. The other thing that gets missed a lot of times is on the bottom right-hand side, there's a Google Street Preview. Yes, everyone, I'm sure, is aware of how that works. So if you click on that, you'll be able to see the site and be able to see exactly what's occurring, and you can see the slope there quite clearly. But what you can also do, if I jump back, is click the little bird's eye icon at the top, which is a little bird with an eye. And if you click on that, you'll be able to see the site on angle as well. So that's quite good as well. And then you'll be able to sort of showcase how that actually looks and sort of see it in those auto images so that you can take advantage of that. The other thing that gets missed many times is how to add client details, which is at the bottom of the address. You've got add client. Here you can very simply start typing in a client name. So if we go Jim, it'll showcase all your previous clients that you've added in. And here you can join with your CRM, you can integrate there, you can have a single source of truth, etc. But let's just say we click Jim Stafidis, it'll add that client, and this will appear on anything you generate, flyers, site plans, etc. However, you can also click add client to the right here and then add multiple client details. So say, for instance, a wife's name or a brother's name or whatever might be the case. And then you can sort of add that, or a realtor, or other details pertinent to this deal here. So that's quite simple. So you're able to do that, and you're able to start now seeing that there is Jim Stafidis plus one more. Now, so we've added a floor plan, we're on designs, you can then click on rules, see what the rules are and make sure that they're compliant, remembering that they're always dynamic. So you can sort of breach a side setback and see how that works and see the errors. But what you can now do, which is again another feature that gets sometimes slips past the radar, is you can add multiple structures to a build. So you can add, say, for example, a home build plus another build. Say an ADU, you're doing a house and an ADU, or an ADU and a pool, or a house, a pool, and an ADU. So just to get the most out of this session, I'll jump to another address so we can have a look at how that looks. We'll jump over to San Antonio. Now, same deal, we've jumped to this address here. We can see on the left-hand side, you can see this site is affected by flood. So these pertinent information is on the left, as well as owners and details, etc., which you can always get. So here, let's just start the process again. Let's just pick a design. Let's just pick a Landra again. So we've picked this house. This could be a knockdown rebuild type scenario. Noticing that there's different setbacks now. Let's just position this. Place it there. And now let's just say, for instance, we want to build an ADU as well. Let's just click this ADU. This pop-up will come. Are you replacing or keeping the existing build? We're keeping it. And then we've placed an ADU. And notice that the setbacks have changed, because now the setbacks is relating to the ADU itself. So it's checking the rules for the ADU as well as the home. So if I click on the rules, you can see here that it's focused on ADUs. And if we then click on the house itself, it's now focused on houses. The other nice touch is that it'll be combining both to make sure that they're both compliant with each other. So gross floor areas and things like that, it'll be double checking that to see. And then the sky's the limit now. If you're also a pool builder, you can also select a pool. And these, you're able to now form relationships between a pool builder and a home builder and start siting things together, if that's what you wanted to do, or be able to just showcase how that pool might work with the house, so you can carry on the conversation. So that client of yours doesn't then go find the pool builder and then spend many weeks there and then comes back, and vice versa. So that you have that opportunity. So if we were to pick a pool, let's just go Bermuda and click on that, you'll be able to place the pool as well. So in very quick order, we're able to choose an ADU, a house, a pool, and position those. And then you can start marking and annotating, etc. And again, the idea is to be able to very easily and quickly showcase how this looks. So hopefully these are some of the features that you might be able to take more advantage of. And even with the ADUs, there's now possibilities to have an ADU and a studio, 2 ADUs. We are working very closely to be able to release a new feature, especially for California, that lets you divide blocks and be able to take advantage of that, which will then again have the advantage of being able to put into structures. So just to sort of carry on with this, so we've got this here. Another thing that I wanted to sort of jump to and show is, and what I might do here is go to another property, just to keep it sort of interesting. We're now jumping over to Texas, where in Texas, there's a lot of manufactured home builders that we're now engaging with. But let's just jump to Texas. And I hope you can see that from jumping around, the system is quite intuitive to be able to see exactly what's happening. So here we've just got a large block of land. Let's just pick a larger plan. Now, again, works in the same way. We've got front setbacks and side setbacks. Here, I'm just simply, again, showcasing the 2 stories, just so you can get the most out of it. So you can see ground floor and bottom floor and be able to sort of run through those facades, etc. Now, another key point is to be able to take advantage of flyers and these documents that can be generated. These documents, you can generate site plans, CAD files, and flyers. Now, if I do click on, say, site plan and flyer, and click order and agree to T's and C's and go checkout, you are able to generate these documents, the flyers, very quick. You can see flyer here, click download and open that up, which will showcase a PDF. And here you can see the PDF of the proposed design. So here you can see we've been a bit lazy with the description, but you can have attribute boxes with bedroom sizes, garage sizes, portico sizes, etc. The sales consultant's details, attributes, and the facade itself. And this facade can be changed depending on the facade chosen, so the external cladding option. And again, to do that, you just click on facades and you're able to choose between them. If any of these features are of interest, please reach out to anyone from the team, whether it's Candace or Jack, or just email support@canibuild.com, and we'll love to be able to help you not only set up the attributes correctly or put in 2 stories or take advantage of facades and these design options. We're happy to do that for you and work you through that process. So here we've got the site plan as well, and just for completeness, I'll open that one up. And again, you're able to see, show the facade, show the site plan, branded, stylized, copyright statements, etc. And then the second plan is just a zoomed in view of that particular build. And I'm pretty sure Jack's Construction is a fictitious construction company, but you can see here how this can be branded to your company. So we'll jump back here. And again, guys, if there's any questions that you want to ask along the way, whether it's on what I'm discussing or something else, feel free to ask, and I'll try my best to answer those as well. So here, what I'd like to do now is jump to, say, a manufactured home option, and then I'll finish off with a pool option and an ADU option as well. So if I do go to a manufactured home, and we'll stay in Texas, you will be in Abilene. Apologies for my pronunciation of some of these areas. So here you can see this is a community of manufactured homes. Again, it works in exactly the same way. On the left-hand side, you'll be able to see the site details, you'll be able to see the context of the park as well, and zoom in and then be able to choose a design. So now let's just choose a manufactured home design. And I think I'll go with, what's a good name to go with? Maybe the Fiesta or the Canyon. Let's go to the Fiesta. Why not? So we've picked an example manufactured home. And again, I hope you can see that whether it's a pool, a house, or an ADU, it works exactly the same way, but I'm just giving context as what you can do. So here again, this particular design has a few options. So you can go with the Jack and Jill bathroom orientation. You can go with the master bath and sort of make those modifications. And the nice thing about these modifications is if you go to our quote proposal tool, you'll be able to see those design option changes and their cost. So for instance, if you're putting the master bath, this might cost 3,000, or the Jack and Jill option is at an incredibly expensive 0. So these prices obviously can be set by yourself in conjunction with the design cost, the build cost of the main build itself. Here you can then click on add items and then start adding anything from your pricing book. So permit fees, kitchen upgrades, floor upgrades, whatever it might be, site works, so on and so forth. And then sort of add that to the quote. These are just random imaginary items just to give you context. And then again, you're able to get quote or get proposal and click proceed and generate a quote very quickly for this particular build. So this can be done in conjunction with the flyer, the site plan, and couple them all together. And it'll all appear in docs. So I'll give that a few moments. Click quote, click download, and open that up. And then you'll be able to see a proposal with the items that we've added, which again is branded and stylized in your company colors, etc. And if you need any help here to make this exactly reflective of what you want it to be, that's not an issue whatsoever. So if we scroll down, there's payment gateways. You can connect this to Stripe, and people can actually pay for the deposit or the initial payment, whatever that might be from the proposal you just sent through. Again, if you need help with that, we're here, and you can just contact us at support@canibuild.com. So jumping back, and I hope I'm not going too fast for anyone. And again, if there's anything that you're missing, you can sort of use the chat widget on the Zoom session, and I'll try to answer those as well. So going back, so we've picked a design, we've placed we checked the rules, and if we do click on rules, you're able to then see that it is for manufactured homes, and then be able to see the setbacks and the rules are specified to there. Now let's just jump to, say, an ADU example. And we're also getting quite a few clients that are in the septic well construction. We are doing a lot of features in relation to that to see if there is well water close by, to be able to put in septic tanks as well of differing sizes. That's possible right now. We can actually have models of those septic tanks and then automatically see the distance to the house, etc. So if anyone that has joined the webinar is in this area, again, feel free to contact us. And there's a lot of home builders that have been requesting, especially in Texas, to see if there's well water close by, to give an indication if that's possible. And I'll actually go to a site that Palm Harbor sort of pointed out, and the system is able to check that it's wetlands, for example, and then that was an issue. So here we'll just scroll down. What I might do is jump to that ADU example, which I think is in Sacramento. Actually, I'll go to this one here, San Diego. And again, the whole idea of Canibuild is it's just free flowing and easy to jump around the country. So you can imagine how you can make most use of this. You can now see clients from any part of the US. If you're doing prefab or modular, you'll be able to take that advantage as well. So here we're at our property. If I click on the information here and see, I come to this one only to highlight that it's if this particular property is affected by bushfire, coastal zone, hillside, so you are able to use the system in this way to be able to quickly see if there's anything that is of effect. And then again, you'll be picking our ADU, placing the ADU on site, seeing what the setbacks are, positioning that ADU in place. You can always switch to architectural view by clicking the map button here and be able to sort of cite that in this way. And then again, you can go to cart, and if you prefer, generate a site plan in this fashion. Now, I'll let that generate so you can see how it looks in the architectural mode. If I go back to cart, you can notice here that we've got an additional item, which is block plans for $49. Now, the block plan that gets generated would look something like this. So this is something that you can provide to the city or for part of submission or part of pre-lodgement, or to have a more architectural view of this site. So to give you an example of how that looks, I'll share my screen on PDF. So this is an example that has been done previously, and you'll be able to receive something like this. So if this is sufficient for what you're doing, there's a lot of pool builders that this is sufficient. You now have an option to be able to get a $49 plan and be able to on-sell this to your clients, because you can add your own margin on that. So you can do it for $99 or $200 or whatever you might want to do, or package it in conjunction with some other services that you're doing. But you'll be able to receive this, and you'll be able to use that. And this is now available for all pool builders and ADU builders. We're still working on for houses, but that'll be coming shortly. So let me quickly reshare my original screen. I'll go to cart, and just so you can see that site plan. So here we've got the site plan, and you can see it's a much clearer, concise look. And again, it is up to your discretion as how to use it. So you'll be able to see contour lines, setback lines, the existing property, the proposed build, its position in relation to the boundaries, the site calculations on the right-hand side. Any notes that you would have made would appear there as well. And then again, you've got your copyright, your disclaimer, and your attributes down below. And then the second page is just a zoomed in view of the build itself. Brilliant. So again, let me see if I can jump to one other part of the country. So let's go to Tampa, and Tampa looks quite pretty for a pool location. So let's jump there. So again, you can see site services, water, sewer, septic, etc. And then you're able to see the site itself. It's already got a pool, but let's just say these owners want a second one, because judging from the house, they can definitely afford it. So let's just click on designs. And again, you can filter down to pools. If you are building multiple build types, you can use these filters to just say, show me all the pools. You can have any number of pool designs. You can use the draw feature to actually draw a pool as well, which is sometimes missed. So on the right-hand side, especially for concrete pool builders, on the right-hand side, you can use this measuring tool. Instead of using the square, use this curved polygon. And let's just say you wanted a kidney-shaped kind of design pool. Don't let the geometric form startle you. It will go curved, and then you can click edit. And then you can start playing with these shapes as well. So this is also a nice way for home builders that aren't in the pool game, just to showcase something like this, to be able to say, look, this is where your pool is. You might not go for geometric, and you might just go for rectangle. But if you are a concrete pool builder, the sky's the limit in how you design it, because you can actually click on any of the nodes and square that up. Let's just say we square this one up as well. So you're able to then form a pool of whatever shape you want. So that's quite nice as well. But in this case, let's bin that and pick a pool. And then you can see here, there's a mishmash of different pool types. So let's just pick, say, a fiberglass shell type pool, this one here. And again, we can place that there. So you can see how, and you can add your own images as well. So again, if there is pool enclosures, pumps, or septic tanks, or anything that might be an on-ground construction that you want to illustrate, contact us and we can load those in for you. So you can just have a pool as well as, say, the filter pump enclosure as a box, which is of the exact dimensions. And you might have several different pump enclosures or several different water tanks or several different septic tanks, and you can show illustratively where they're going to be located. And then you can use the measuring tool to do things like a line for trenching, to say we need to connect to water. How far is that? So let's just say we run like that to a junction, and then you can click on that line and change the color. Let's just say we'll make that blue as well, and then we'll make that dashed. And again, you can go architecture and showcase that a bit clearer. So that's 55 feet to the service line, and then you start factoring that in. So hopefully that is of advantage. The other thing that gets missed quite a bit is the ability to create pattern shapes. And the benefit here is, say, for example, there was an area of pavement. Now this could be at the back of an existing house, or this could be just arbitrarily a driveway. You can show this shape, but if you click on it, you can click on this pattern shape, you can actually change the pattern. So let's just say we want to showcase that's going to be exposed aggregate or concrete, or say that was going to be a decked area. You can sort of showcase this to make it clearer. Then you can right click and add an annotation and say decking area to be done by others, for example. And then you can start marking that. If you really want to get adventurous, you can start changing the color. So let's just go with something more brown for this deck. And let's just say you want to lessen the opacity. So you can do that as well. So hopefully that gives you some food for thought as to how that tool can be used. Typically what I see is it being used as to showcase a driveway. So let's just say this driveway wasn't impeccable and it was something that needed to be redone or resurfaced or from scratch. So you've got that. You've got the perimeter, you've got the square footage of that driveway, and then you can click on it, change the pattern and say, look, we'll do exposed aggregate. And you're able to start really quickly and easily forming up how this is looking. Now, the other thing that I've seen some concrete pool builders do, which might be relevant for others, is say, for instance, there was a pool that someone really liked. You can use that tool to be able to trace someone else's pool and then shift that over to your site. Let's just say they don't want that spa, just to save me from going around that circle. And then you can click edit and then say that pool is exactly this size. So if someone's had some pool around the country that they really liked and they say that's the one I want, you can say, well, I know what size that is. A pool like that will cost you this. And you don't have to knock on the neighbors and say, hey, can I steal your pool plan designs, or go out there and have a look. So you can see here that you can make that work. And then you've got an idea. You can say that's 405 square feet, 71 linear meters, sorry, 71 feet perimeter, and you can sort of reconcile that. Now, what we've also done is on top of these functions is we've introduced the ability to show communities as well. And this is important for both home builders, irrespective of what build type, as well as the developers themselves. So we've got quite a few developers on the system, and I'll showcase how that works so you're aware of it. So everything we showed here is on registered blocks of land, but you are able to examine unregistered blocks of land, those still being developed, say, for example, as part of a community, and you wanted to be able to cite something on that project, whether it's a manufactured home community or whether it's a land subdivision that's being sold as parcels of land, small or large. So let's just showcase that. There is a few ways you can sort of get there, but the one I like to do is click show estates. On this demo account, we've got the two that's currently being shown. So say, for example, here, these pins represent estates or communities. If we click on one, you can see here, this was a small subdivision that one of our clients were looking to assist their client in subdividing to be able to put a manufactured home. Now, all of these parcels of land don't exist in the real world. So this is part of either a proposal or a submission or going through the process of subdividing, but you're able to then interact with these parcels of land now as they were in the real world. So if there was a community that needed to be loaded up that you're working with in conjunction with the developer, or you are the developer, reach out to us and we load these estates in for you within 3 days, free of charge. So then you can start interacting in the same way I am in this one here. So you can see here, it works in exactly the same way. You can see at the bottom, it's affected by flood or wetlands. You can use the topography feature to be able to see the topography. You can see that mimics the aerial imagery, and you can see the detail here, and then you'll be able to pick a design. Let's go with something bigger. You can see the setbacks, and then you can position it. You want to position it here because you have to remember that the colors, red is high and blue is low. So in this case, this is the lower point of the site. So you're able to place it somewhere higher. You'll probably have a few trees to cut. And then you'll be able to then use that cut and fill feature to see what the fall of land is. And you can say that's a 14-foot drop, et cetera, et cetera. And then you'll be able to start working the site as well. And then you'll be able to derive site plans and flyers. But the main takeaway is you've now got an unregistered block that might be in its process of getting registered, being able to cite that, choose that allotment, and showcase to the client how this would look. So I'll jump to the other estate just to showcase how that looks as well. I think this one's in California. And you can see here, this is more of a manufactured home part that has been now filled in, but you're able to then see which allotments are free for another home. And then again, you start the process again. You pick that block of land, and now you'll be able to pick a design, place it on there. So you can see how this is working for our community builders as well. And you're able to use this to assess sites. And here you can see other parcels and be able to select them in equal measure. So I hope that is giving you some insight as to how this feature can be used. And if you're working with a developer to build on their land for doing house and land offerings or whatever it might be, feel free to reach out to us if you want to discuss about this feature a little bit more. So the next thing I would like to sort of jump through is very quickly touching on the Web Widget. Now, everything I showed on Canibuild is the main features, and I hope there was a few points that I've touched on that's new and different. And again, feel free to reach out to us at any time for support. We don't charge for support. So that gives you an idea of how easy it is to use the application. And as soon as you get it, it's something that is very quickly to roll with. But what I'll show you now is an example of the Web Widget. Now, the Web Widget is just a lightweight version of Canibuild that can be embedded on your site or your landing page and be able to now interact with your clients to be able to see your builds on any block of land they choose. So I'll give you an example, a live example. So I'll be just jumping to this builder, which is Advanced Homes. Their clients obviously are investors or first home buyers or second home buyers looking to build their next house. So here you can see this is their website. So it's embedded in their website. This can be embedded in any number of ways. I have jumped to Australia. Usually I say sunny Australia, but right now we're neck deep in water with floods across the East Coast. When it rains, it pours here. I don't think the world has caught a break. So between the bushfires and COVID and flood, I think everyone in Australia just needs a holiday out of Australia. So here you can see that this is all color-coded and branded for their business. It's not an exercise of promoting Canibuild. It's just an exercise to be able to interact with your client. Each of these pins are communities and estates. They can search for a block of land in exactly the same way here. So if they wanted to go to a specific property, or if they wanted to click on a community, for example, they can click on, say, Autumn Grove. It'll show that as that community. They might be interested in lot 3 or parcel 3. And then if they click on that, the system will ask them to verify their details or register, which they can do using their socials or register as per normal. In this case, I have already registered, so let me just jump in. And the whole idea is this can then be integrated into Salesforce or Dynamics or HubSpot as a lead. And then when you sign in, you'll be presented with that block of land. So you can imagine, especially for manufactured prefab, where it's across the country or wider areas, people can now start interacting with your floor plans on the side. You'll be able to switch between those designs. You'll be able to place designs and have a play. But the main takeaway is you'll have a verifiable mobile number for a contact. You'll also have which address that that potential lead or client is looking at, and be able to say, okay, this client checked a property in Texas. This is the address. They were jumping between these two designs. And I'll give them a call and see if we can help. Or they might be in San Diego, or they might be in Hawaii. It doesn't matter. The system allows you to restrict the coverage as well. So say, for instance, this particular builder restricted the coverage, obviously, to the state they're operating in. Let me just turn on the lights again. So here, you can use this web widget. We can work with you to embed it on your website, or it could be a specific landing page associated to a community. But hopefully it gives you food for thought. And the idea here is not to pitch or to upsell. It's more to give you an idea of what features and things are available. So hopefully that is enlightening as well. So let me just jump back to the app. So we've gone through quite a bit. I'll go refer back to my touch notes to make sure that I've gone through everything I was hoping to. So just to recap, I think we've jumped around the country in terms of pools, manufactured homes, houses, ADUs. We've also touched on the ability to interact with communities in the States. We've also touched on the marketplace, where you can purchase these architecturally drawn designs for submission to city and council. And you're also highlighted the web widget. Now, I think I've gone through most of the things I would like to do. I'm happy to field any questions in this webinar. The next webinar will be at the same time next month. And next month will be a big one because we've got a major release that's coming out. That's we're quite excited about. I don't want to sort of let the cat out of the bag, but it's definitely worthwhile jumping on. This session was more to just introduce myself and saying thank you to all those that have just recently joined the application and put their trust in us in their sales process, but also to touch on many of the points that we find is commonly missed. Before I do check off, there is maybe one or two things I would like to show as well. Finally, on the top right-hand side, there is a My Dashboard, which is right next to the notification bell. If you click on My Dashboard, again, this is something that gets missed quite a bit. Here you can see all your deals. These are all the lookups that you've checked up. So if I start typing in Texas, it will restrict down to anything with the word Texas. If you start typing in gym, it will restrict to any gym client that is on the system, and these are all clickable. So this is just a very easy way to jump from to that deal you looked up yesterday, because you can use the filter to say, hey, what did I do last week, and be able to filter that. You can even tag them. So if you really wanted to just tag this as hot, you can, so hot lead or whatever it might be, just for you to be able to have a better understanding as to what's going on. On the left-hand side, if you click one down, which is orders, you'll be able to see all the documents that you've ordered. Now, this doesn't just simply include the paid items, but it also includes flyers and site plans. So again, it's just an easy way to quickly get that document without having to go to the address. And then finally, you've got address book. These are all the clients or any all the contacts that you've added on the system. And the nice thing about these is this is where you can edit their details if you've edited it wrong, and be able to sort of very quickly find out what you need to know and what deals that they've been looking at. So here, for instance, if you do click on this particular name, you'll be able to see that, for instance, Miss Sharon is working on 3123 Jefferson. And if you click on that, it will just jump to that address. So this is again, and see what's going on here. And you can see here it was an ADU. So this would have been one of my colleagues, which again, did this as our indicative sewer line. You probably wouldn't do a bend like that on the sewer line, but it gives you the idea that you can very quickly, easily jump to different locations and be able to use that as the springboard. Using the ortho, the bird's eye view, again, you can get a better picture of the site. Looks like they've got a jumping castle there. So, and next door looks like they're in need for a desperate clean. So here you can sort of rotate around the build and see it on angle as well, which is again for ADU companies incredibly important because you can see site access and be able to get a better context as to what's going on in a high-res image. So I think I've gone through all the main points in admin. Again, I definitely don't want to bore everyone on a webinar, but the main things I just want to point out: integrations. We do have integrations, and it's not limited to these. You've got Zapier, which opens the door for thousands of integrations that you might want to do, but we've got other integrations such as Salesforce, etc., which you can just reach out to us. These are the native integrations. Realestate.com is a portal based out of Australia, which you can showcase your house and land packages. There are portals in the United States that we've got access to as well. And then if you click on construction here, you can automatically set things to 50-50 cut and fill, for example. Right now, the system's defaulting to the highest and lowest point. Again, if you needed more help here, you can set building pad offsets. So rather than cutting up to the boundary of the build, you can give it, say, a 4 feet leeway and be able to do it that kind of way, or whatever is the leeway you want around the build, so you can know what your pad's going to look like. And you're able to then have the recipe catalog. This is what I'll touch on next month. Next month I'll be talking about the ability to site anything, be it a pool, a house, an ADU, and automatically calculate the import of fill, the export of fill, so the net export of fill or import of fill. Ideally, that'll be 0, and also the drop edge square footage, or the stem wall construction, or the out of ground construction. And basically what that means is when you site a project, it'll automatically tell you the cost of the site works, which is, I think, amazing. And it'll be done in a hyper visual way, so you'll be able to see how that looks next month. And again, branding, you're able to touch on the branding. And I think a lot of these things would have been covered in the training. If you haven't gone through the training, again, please reach out and we'll jump on that straight away, as that's part of the service and you'll be able to get the most out of it. And here you can see flyers, quotes, etc., where you can sort of change through. And then again, you're able to sort of go through all the other items. But if there's anything I discussed today that you require some help, please reach out to us. It's the best way that you can get the most out of the app. And now I think I've reached the end. I've still got 10 minutes to go, but I think I've gone through the main parts. Was there any questions anyone want to ask? Feel free to use the chat. Else, again, this session will be recorded. You'll be able to replay it if you like to sort of jump to anything. But if there was any particular feature you want to take advantage of me for and showcase, I'm happy to sort of do that now. Any good rendering companies, I like your flyer. 100%. So in terms of when you say rendering companies, for the models, Adam, we'll reach out to you and we'll get you in contact with some. If you want, as a courtesy, we might be able to do one or two for you as a courtesy, just to show that we're here to help. So I'll definitely get someone to reach out to you in regards to those renders. So I'm assuming you're talking about renders as in the, say, the 3D model or the front facade look and feel of it. So if you do need help in that regards, we can put you in contact, and we might be able to do one or two for you as a courtesy. I'll speak to the team to see if we're able to fit that in. So I'm hoping that was the question. The flyer, since you did touch on the flyer, I will go to the admin and show how you can sort of get the most out of it. So if I do go to design catalog and go to house, and say I'll go to that blue water one and click edit. So here in the attributes, if you start adding attributes, so let's just add a few. So porch, garage is 50, etc. And click save. Apologies for the square meterage. I'll just quickly jump back to the Australian setting. So on yours, it'll be square footage. To apologize for that. It does take an Australian quite a bit to get wrapped their head around inches and feet. But if I click on tick, and then also very quickly, what I'll show is the simplicity of adding multiple renders and multiple facades and multiple external images. So if I click on placement image, on the right-hand side, you can see facades. You could actually add multiple here, add options. So you can have the cost-effective option, the razzmatazz option, everything in between option. You've got quite a few different scenarios. And if you do click these from the front, it'll actually change the flyer as well. So that's a really good opportunity to avoid having to print boxes of flyers for your sales teams and for yourself. So hopefully that helps. And now if I jump back to the main app, and let's just, for argument's sake, I'll just add it here. That blue, click that guy, I'll replace the ADU. Obviously it doesn't fit, that's why everything's gone red. And then if I go to cart and click flyer and order that and agree to T's and C's and go checkout, you'll be able to see this flyer pending. I'll click on that, click download, and open that guy up. And you can see those attribute boxes with the numbers I just quickly added. That'll pop up. So again, it's very powerful for you to really create a rich looking flyer. So hopefully that answers your question. One last thing, probably the last thing I'll quickly show to you guys, and this definitely gets missed out on a lot. Say in this case here, I didn't want to delete that ADU, but it may have been one of my colleagues, and I've just stuffed things up by just changing the build. If you click the filing cabinet, what you can do instead is click new draft here. And if you click new draft, it actually saves whatever you've done and creates a new version on the same block. So this is just a really easy and nice way to be able to, say for instance, you've been working with a client, you've done 50 notes and you've added a design, etc. And then the client says, hey, can I see a different design or make a substantive change? Rather than just deleting everything, because imagine the client at the end of the day says, oh, can we just revert back to what you did? You can use this function and click new draft. And then, so you know what draft means what, you can say this is the alternate option, and click save, and then you remember that this is the alternate option, this is the main option, this is the cheap option, this is the preferred option. And then if you wanted to go back to the original, you just click on that other one and it'll return you back to exactly where you last left off. So probably that's the last thing for today. If there was any other questions, feel free to reach out. Again, support@canibuild.com. You can contact anytime and the team will be only too happy to help. And Adam, I'll make sure that someone reaches out to yourself and make sure that we can help you there and put you in contact to the right people, or just assist you more generally. But aside from that, really appreciate for everyone that's joined on this session. Again, same time next month, really look forward to seeing yourselves to sort of touch in again, and then we'll be going through generally just new features. So again, thank you for attending. The recorded session will be on YouTube. Thanks very much and see you next month. Thank you.